Okay, this is sort of written about IIT, so I think, something to do with Chandan. It's a longer poem, so I think you have to be a little patient. Returning home. And you see the true crows for joy pass that are sitting on overhead cables in the evening moon, a mere silvery slice against fluffy, translucent sky. And the remains of your school where you spent your 12 longest years and lived through everything. At the bus stand you had to draw for your art class in yellow ochre or asphalt grey, and the emptiness that now occupies the place where a tiny cafe once stood. And the tree where they fed you lunch before you learned to walk back home. And I thought of my parents. Brilliant people talking of the intricacies of their life and the corruption of morals and the bygone days and hunger in their childhood and their dead, dear departed parents, as if to teach you what to talk to your children. And you're their child, so you speak their lines. Still returning home, there are the rusty mammoth girders that outline the sky like the derelicts of lost hopes and crossed dreams. And girls so flimsy, pretty, yet unsafe in the little worlds of lip gloss and love affairs that you could have smoked them into oblivion. And the dry, decaying, dead leaves crushed with varying noises and carrying a spent smell that clings to your hair. And the shy forest noises that violate your fixation over sight and sound and smell and touch, yes, touch. And I thought of my lover. A primitive man who would invade your aloneness on insomniac nights and challenge your assumptions of love and your sophistications and fill your ears with the four-letter words of his ancient language that have begun to sound to you like earth songs to which your body awakens. And you're his love, so you listen to his loves. On the way home, the small lessons you learn of life, love, or the promise of love, its lack of choice, this large world and its littleness. Their daughters. Paracetamol legends I know for rising fevers as pain relievers of my people. Fathers, fathers, mothers, mother. Dark, lush hair caressing her ankle, sometimes sweeping earth. Deep, honey skin, amber eyes. Not beauty alone, they say. She married a man who murdered 13 men, and one lonely summer afternoon, her rice-white teeth tore through layers of khaki and golden white skin to spill the bloodied guts of a British soldier who tried to colonize her. Of my land, uniform blue open skies, mad artist palettes of green lands and lily-filled lakes that mirror all. Not peace and tranquil alone, he shudders. A young wife near my father's home with a drunken husband who never changed. She bore his daily beatings until on one stormy night, in fury, she killed him by stomping his seed bags. We, their daughters, we, the daughters of their soil, we mostly right. I should read my own love poem, but it's the only love poem in this book. Untitled Love. And perhaps, because we only met in secret, shielded by darkness, he hesitates whenever I ask him to bring our love to light. Storming in teacups. A cup of tea is not a cup of tea when you make it at twilight just for him. Call it a love potion, liquid dream, scented desire, wishes boiled to a blend. 3 cardamom pods, the dried Darjeeling leaves, milk and pearl white cream simmering to a syrup to be filtered. As you sweat in its vapors and imagine how the tea tastes against his lips, his teeth, his tongue and the pale pink insides of his throat. As you stir in the sugar and test a spoonful to see if it stings and soothes and stimulates the way you intended. As you pour it into his cup with eyes mirroring supernovas and study the desirable brown of the tea, an entire shade that fits exactly between the desert sand of your skin and the date palm of his, almost the color of your possible child.